Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just back again with another video. Call this like the Great Divide, and so we see what's going on in the world now, and this is extremely exciting, and so all of this essentially forces God hand, pardon the pun, and that's relevant to what I want to talk about is that God only has two hands. He has a left and a right hand side, and I'll bring out verses to support that, and it's very, very clear, in the Bible. And I could bring out more than just these three, but that there's a very distinct group, and ultimately it's God's right hand side that we want to be a part of, and that's what I'm going to read in Matthew 25, and that's who the kingdom's prepared for, and then their righteousness will exceed the scribes and the Pharisees. So everyone below that will not be in the kingdom. There's another distinction that there's two groups of people, and so everywhere in the Bible it talks about God dividing, and then he's going to bring variants against like mother, daughter, father, son, and all that kind of stuff. And so, that's God doing that, and so there's no like 3 arms or 4 arms or, Hindu gods are represented of having like 8 arms and all that. That's Antichrist. Okay. And that goes against the Bible because the God of the Bible only has 2 hands, a left and a right hand side. And the highest spirit on his right hand side is Christ. And then the highest spirit on his left hand side is Satan, and Satan ultimately reports to Christ, who reports to the Most High. Okay, and so just know that, and that's the structure, and so this only for a very specific period of time. The Bible even says that Satan has but little time, and that kind of thing. So he only is able to operate for a certain time and under the instruction of God. Okay, and so just know that, and then we're anxious for those days to be wrapped up. And the days that we're living in essentially force God's hand because the world is being divided on one topic. The entire world has lots of opinions, on different things, Republican, Democrat, all those different things, and then on all the different rules and like, what's right and what's wrong and all that kind of stuff, moral issues and all that. But now we have an issue that's going worldwide, and you're either on one side or the other. And so that's a division, okay? And if anybody thinks that God's going to go into one of those sides and divide them again, that doesn't make any sense because there's nothing to divide, okay? There's no other narrative that's going to go out that's going to lay on top of that that's going to need to divide those 2 camps anymore because there's already 2 camps forming, and we see, everybody knows what I'm talking about, whether they're going to do it or not, okay? And so that division's happening, and it's very clear now at this point it's not going to get pulled back. So anybody who thinks that God's going to go into those 2 sides then and then divide those even more, to decide what his left and right hand side is, that doesn't make sense because there's only 2 options. It's not like his left and right hand side are in both sides of that division. That doesn't make sense. And then we'll see that. And so what we do see is that even people who take one side who are against what's happening, even some of them will get rejected. That's what the Bible says, and I'll read that in Revelation 16. So that's going to be the last distinction, that's going to be made. But ultimately, God doesn't need another worldwide narrative to make a division of 2 groups because it's happening right now. And that's why God is essentially put in a corner. And so Matthew 12:30, he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. Okay. They run as far away as possible from God, and this is the truth. Okay. And so just know that. Okay. And so this is what Christ is saying, is that if there's only 2 options. Okay. And so just know that. So I want people to know that this is the times that we live in now. Okay. It doesn't matter what your opinion is anymore. Okay. Because as long as there's a group of 144,000 men that are on one side and they're all together on one decision and they're Israelites, then it's over. And it's very, very clear that we're in that time now, because I could find 144,000 atheists, even potentially women, who will be against this narrative. Okay. And so that should be very clear, the times that we're living in now. Okay. So brace yourself. Okay. Matthew 25 is talking about a distinction between God's left and right hand side, and one group ministered to God. Okay. They didn't scatter abroad when God came. Okay. They ministered to him. And then they said that even if it wasn't Christ himself, if they were alive during his time, if they minister to the poor, he's going to count that as ministering to him directly. Okay. I don't need to read this because I've done lessons on this and referenced this many, many times, but listen to this, what happens to his left hand side. But just know Matthew 25 is 2 groups of people. That's it. Okay, and then there's a judgment for one, and then there's a judgment for the other. And this is the judgment for the left-hand side. Verse 41, then he shall say unto them on the left hand, depart from me. And we read that in Matthew 12:30. They're going to scatter abroad. Depart, go away. Okay. Ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. Okay. And so the devil is going to parade around this earth and declare that his angels are doing angelic work, doing righteous work. They're going to masquerade around as people who care about you. Okay, and just know that. And this is a lot of this is in the truth community. So just be very, very aware of that. And so what happens in verse 34, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come ye blessed of my father. Okay, so the only true people that can know that Christ is king are people where the Most High has opened their mind. That's the Son of God. Go follow him and do what he says. Blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Okay, so it's been set. These are predetermined, two groups. All this narrative is doing right now is identifying who's on what team. I did not need to know this, see this prior. I know exactly. Before a person finishes their sentence, I know exactly where they stand with God because it's very, very clear. Okay, because I would look at Matthew 25 and ask them, what side do you fall in on this, for example? And then you could read lots of different verses in the Bible and you'll find out very quickly what people are all about. Okay. Are they the type that are going to be seduced by what it said in verse 41, the devil and his angels? Okay. Or are they the type that go actually to the poor, okay, and minister to them directly? And that's where we'll see God. Because the Bible is not going to remix itself in the last days, okay? If a person or a corporation or a government is not involved in the works of God's right-hand side here, then they're a part of the devil and his angels, okay? And so you just have to simply read what God's right-hand side, the works that they're all about, okay? It's very, very clear. And so I know that this is very, very few people on this earth, okay? And so the Bible's saying here that God looks at the people who minister to the poor and the poor themselves as his right-hand side, okay? And so everybody was like, yeah, Christ will return in 1,000 years, 10 years, whatever. They don't care about the poor because that's who God cares about. And that's who he's checking his clock to see, okay, when will I send my son return? He doesn't care about you bird brains that come on my channel, don't have a clue what the hell's going on. He cares about what he's written here, okay, Matthew 25 and everywhere. And so just know that, okay? God cares about the poor, okay? Just know that. And then, in fact, the Bible makes an outlandish claim that, in fact, God hides himself in the poor, okay? And so just know that. This is very, very important to understand because God's not going to remix his opinions, okay, at all. He is not going to. For I was hungered and you gave me meat. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. Does that sound like people who are constantly asking for things? Hey, my link's below. Sign up for my Patreon. Go on my website. Pay me. These are people that are giving. It's going out for free, okay? And they don't ask to come and, like repay me with interest and all that kind of stuff, okay? And so just know that, okay? And the majority of the world is Antichrist, okay? And so just know that, okay? And I'm very, very aware of that a majority of the people, even the truthers that come by my channel, you hate God, okay? And so this is for the few and the faithful. Just know that God is going to use these words to delineate two groups of people. So if you follow the devil and his angels who are not doing the works that are described here, then you're on God's left-hand side, and it's obvious, and we don't care. And so good luck to you, okay, if you're seduced by the devil and his angels in the times that we live in now, which is absolutely ridiculous. Naked and ye clothed me, I was sick and ye visited me, I was in prison, and yet ye came unto me, okay? Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when would we see thee hungered and feed thee, or thirsty and give thee to humble? When did we see that? Okay. When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee, or when thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer unto them, verily I say unto you, as much as you did it unto one of the least of these my brethren, okay, you have done it unto me, okay, the least of the brethren, okay. Is anybody concerned about the least? Okay, all you dummies that come by my channel, now we got 10 more years. No big deal. We'll be fine. They're coming after the healthy people. Okay, wake up. Okay, so what do you think about the people who are blind and lame, like it's written in Jeremiah 31:8? How much time do they have? Okay, it's time for you people to wake up. Okay, people are sick. Come by here 10, 15 years and all that kind of stuff. Out of your mind. Revelation 16:2, and the first went out, and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast and upon them which worshipped his image. So everybody in this group fundamentally is worshiping his image, okay, of the beast, which is a power structure that has risen up from the entire earth and is controlling the entire earth, and that's God's entire left-hand side. So it's the governments, the banks, the corporations, your local governments, and potentially people in your family, okay? And so that's who is God's left-hand side. And then he's gonna put sores on them. And it's not gonna be like, oh, half your body's covered in sores, so you still have 50% chance at that point. No, it's either you've got those sores or you don't, okay? And that group that doesn't, they're gonna be attacked and persecuted, okay? Because they're gonna be blamed for those, okay? Because you didn't go along with the narrative, and we all know what that is. And so there's only two groups here as well, okay? There's only two groups everywhere, okay? And just know that. That's everywhere in the Bible, and we're living in those days. We have to be, or else the Bible's not true. Pick your team accordingly, okay? So don't come by my channel and troll and just state nonsense. What does that benefit you? Which team are you on, first and foremost? And then the Bible, really a lot of it at this point is cosmetic, you know? Then it's just like, oh, okay, well, good, we're on the right side. Okay, then let's get into the details and all that kind of stuff, but pick your team, okay, if you haven't already. This is the most easiest decision I've ever made in my entire life, okay, about which team I'm going to be on. I didn't even make the decision. That's how easy it was, because I didn't even have a choice, okay, because like I don't have money, and I'm not getting a job in this satanic world, and I don't want those things. So I'm speaking from a fairly luxurious position, not financially, but I have the luxury of having an overwhelming amount of evidence to pick one side or the other, and I think everybody knows which side I'm picking. And so it could not be easier, okay? Other people have other things to consider, but it should also not be very difficult for you. It's time for you people to wake up, okay? All you people running around doing absolutely nothing, okay? And then have the nerve then to go and speak against the Bible in the times that we live in now. Your people are completely lost. And good luck with these sores, okay? Because we don't care. We're going to laugh. And God's elect will not be here on this earth during this time, because they're taken away, because this is the wrath of God. And so good luck, okay? Maybe you'll figure it out after you have sores on your body, and then you'll realize how stupid you are, okay? Like God's going to remix all of the words that he said. The Bible's a huge book, okay? It proclaims that it's the word of God. And then what's written, it has to come true. And we see that it's coming true. And so this is also going to come true. Okay, so pick your team accordingly. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.